This is Norman Shapiro. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm one of the unusual natives of Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, every time someone asks me, where am I from? And I say, I'm from Los Angeles, I'm a native. They look at me and they say, I thought all the natives were gone. And I said, yes, that's one of the errors that I made. Yes, my mom sat me down that summer trying to figure out between myself and she, mainly she, about what I was going to do for the rest of my life. You know, once you grow up, well, she thought that going to the School of Architecture would be the best choice, first choice, in that I had gotten an A in drafting in high school. And there's about as much relationship between drafting in high school and architectural studies as between the new moon and no moon. I did leave school after 3 years to get my professional practice, of which we are required by the State Board of Architectural Examiners to get our license. And at the end, I was working for an architect locally, where I had been in New York as well as Chicago working for some principal architects. And I was romanced by an Orange County developer to go into Orange County. And later, as things progressed, I made it up to manager of the company. I was actually the operations manager, and we say operations in regard to anything having to do with construction. I, at one time, specialized in tambourine, and I was very interested in becoming a professional tambourine player, jazz player, as well as Afro-Cuban, but didn't have either the connections or the knowledge or friend to have a friend to bring me in. And I also played the bongos. And I would sit in at various restaurants in Beverly Hills for Scotty's, which was an old beat of a lot of people that may not remember it. And I was playing bongos, sitting in with the pianist. I gave up drumming for practical reasons. The sound level was long before the practice pads that evolved into snare drums and tom-toms and cymbals and so on and so forth. The only stage work I could say that I, yes, have done is played the drums. I've been on stage playing the drums, and I played the drums at Howard Rumsey's Lighthouse at one time as a sit-in, and I rehearsed with a 17-piece orchestra in a rehearsal studio on Santa Monica Boulevard, just east of Vine. So yes, I've had a bit of experience or exposure of being in front of the public, so to speak. Well, Herb Alpert was probably the most private individual I have ever met. Herb was a diversified individual. In high school, he was on the Still Rings. He performed very well, achieved very high points in gymnastics. I was in Chicago at the time that Herb and the Tijuana Brass was actually born, and it was predicated, as I understand it, of his going to Mexico and his deriving a sound, hearing a sound, developing a sound, how it was done. I have been interested in creative endeavors, actually, as a matter of being in architecture. That is about as creative to me as one can get. The energy that I figured I would want to direct my energies into that field of creating, and I felt film would be a good expression. Although I did several years ago do some background work in 2 movies, one of which starred Donald Sutherland and Alec Baldwin, and that was for an HBO film show. The other, I have to tell you, I have a complete mind blank. Well, I would say the drama, and you mentioned the next, which was the action. I would prefer one or the other or both. I would also tend to be sarcastic. If that's a plus or a minus, I have no idea. But as a social animal, I become sarcastic from time to time. At least that's what some people have told me. I would say an investigator or a CSI individual, someone in that nature, because I also do gravitate towards science. I gravitate towards astronomy, and anything that is investigatory or discovering is of very great value to me, and I appreciate the efforts that are put into it. Well, I'm a very concentrated, focused person who, if a script was of the value or texture or subject matter that we previously discussed, I would put all of what I had into it to both exploit myself as well as the character and its presentation to the public and its representation and its melding in to enfold the entire presentation. I'm learning, I'm trying. Just bear with me and I'll be right there. I might even get ahead of you.